The next game, the final game on our list, it's the 6-1 New York Giants taking on the 4-3 Seattle Seahawks. Gentlemen, before this season, if I were to have told you that come week 8, we would have seen only one game feature two teams with winning records, I don't think you would have told me that it would be this game. I don't think you would have been able to tell me that. But this game this week is the only team featuring two teams with a winning record. The Seahawks are favored in this game by 3 points with an over-under of 44.5. And if I remember this correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron, normally the home team gets 3 points. So when you look at this game, it almost is a coin flip. When you look at these two teams, it's two teams that no one has a clue about. No one can put their finger on what it is about these two teams that are making them as good as they are. Seattle leads the division in the NFC West. The Giants are 6-1, and the only reason why they're not leading the division in the NFC East is because the Eagles are undefeated. But the Giants are doing their thing. The Seahawks are doing their thing. I'm going to give you the easy question here, Aaron, because the last game I gave you a question you didn't like. I'll give you an easy one here. I'm going to give you a layup. Which team is the most surprising this season?
I don't even think that's a layup. But I got two here. It's the Seattle Seahawks is the most surprising team. I will tell you that because I told you what the Giants could be if Daniel Jones didn't turn the football over. But the Seattle Seahawks, we just didn't think they had anything at the quarterback position because we had seen Geno Smith play before, and Geno Smith hadn't been very good. Plus, you talk about the young defense that's stepped up big time. And I didn't like one thing you said. I didn't think you said, we can't explain it. We can't explain it. We can't explain how these teams are where they're at. They've played football the right way. And when we've evaluated where these teams are at, we've liked the things they've done. We talked about Seattle losing Russell Wilson. We knew the quarterback was the question mark. So we know the reason they're winning right now is because Geno Smith is playing good football. That's the difference between being 1-5 for them or 1-6 and 4-3. It's just Geno playing good quarterback football. But everything else around him, the offensive line play has been better. You go draft the Charles Cross. You bring in guys that they lose guys, and you bring in guys we don't know much about, but they've played as a collective unit. The secondary that started the season really, really slow, and we're like, oh, this defense is bad, but they have an offense that can move the ball. The defense has come together. Like that defense is better now than it was in week 2. They progressively got better and better schematically. They figured out what fits their style of play. Tariq Woolen is a man-to-man, physical, lockdown corner, but they're using him in a I don't want to say an older Seattle system. They're running that old style Seattle system, and he's thriving because he doesn't have to think a whole lot. He gets to watch the quarterback and react. And then, so I think the way that they've used their young talent is the most impressive thing, but I think it's explainable. It explains why Pete Carroll's one of the best coaches in the National Football League, and nobody ever wants to give him credit for it because we all look at one Super Bowl where they decided to throw it instead of run it at the 1-yard line. The fact of the matter is it's very explainable why the Giants are good. It's very explainable why the Seahawks are good. We just didn't want to believe it, but you can explain it. Like the pieces are there. They're playing good football. And I always say this, as facts change, we have to change our mindset and our opinions about teams. And I'm me, I'm as stubborn as they come about changing. I want resume and results. And on paper, you might say, God, these teams are so bad. Why are we watching them win? But when you watch the tape and you see them play, you understand that they are playing fundamentally sound football, not turning it over at the wrong times, and that's why they're winning games. And I think Seattle's a little bit more surprising because
he likes what they're doing.
The personnel adequate, and it was.
What was that last part? You used a big word in there, and I think people need to hear it.
I just said I felt like Seattle is more surprising because we knew the Giants, at least I knew the Giants had good personnel. I just needed Daniel Jones to be adequate in order to get wins. And he's been over adequate. He's been better than adequate, but he's not turning the football over. That team has talent. Like they really do.
Yeah, I think this game really, and these two teams specifically it comes down to coaching. The coaching for both these teams has been great. You look at what the Giants doing 6-1, the first team in NFL history to start 6-1 or better with each game being decided by one possession. That to me comes down to coaching. Like that is a coaching thing that you're not letting your team get down. You're having your team believe that they can come back in any situation, and they've done that this year. It's been special from both sides of the ball. AJ, what are you watching for the most in this matchup between two good teams?
It's going to be the run game on both sides. The run game versus the run defense. As you look at what Kenneth Walker has brought to the Seattle Seahawks, you look at what Saquon Barkley's brought to the New York Giants. It has changed the outlook of this offense. We can start with the Saquon Barkley side. Him being healthy, him running like he told everybody he was going to run this season has allowed Daniel Jones to calm down. It allowed him to be free within what his talents are, which is also running the ball out of the pocket when he has an opportunity. And when that happens, he's not turning the ball over. You remember him running the ball back when he had nobody else. He was scared and he fumbled the ball when he was running the ball. Stuff like that hasn't happened this season. Now you look on the other side with Kenneth Walker, and he has just been explosive. And I think that is going to be the part that is going to give the New York Giants fits, because they don't stop big runs very well, and Kenneth Walker loves big runs. And if that's going to be the case, I'm expecting Kenneth Walker to have himself a solid day. If Brian Dable can find another one of these opportunities where he keeps this game close all the way to the end and then they eke one out, I'm not going to be surprised. It's been their makeup. It's been their formula. They're one of the third team in NFL history to register 6 wins by a final margin of 8 or fewer points. And they're one of 3 teams who have won 5 of their first 7 games when they were trailing in the second half. They find a way to keep it close. They find a way to keep it gritty. They run the ball. They play tough defense. And if they're the last ones with the ball, there's a good chance that they have what it takes to get this W. We've all been waiting for one of these teams to quote unquote prove somebody right. So whoever loses this game, someone's coming back, I told you so. It won't be fair because both of these teams have played really well. If you would like, I'll jump right into mine and let you know how I think it's going to go down. I have the Seahawks winning this game 26-23. The Giants, this is their third game with a lot of travel. They've been to Jacksonville. They've been to London. Now they're going to Seattle to fight in the 12th man. It's going to be really tough, a really potent atmosphere. And I think the Giants, with Geno Smith playing the way he's been playing, going to have a tough one, and they'll get their second loss on the season. Give me Seattle 26-23.
Aaron?
Yeah, I have Seattle in this one as well. I like the home factor, but I also like the ability to create turnovers on Seattle's defense. If they can corral and maintain and not let Daniel Jones get outside the pocket, I do think they can create a few turnovers. They're an aggressive style defense right now, which is why they've had games where they've given up a lot. But I like that mentality for a young team like Seattle. So I think they can go in here and find a way to win. I think Seattle gets it done 24-23.
Yeah, this will be a clean sweep to end this show here. I have Seattle here 27-24. I think the defense is going to be very opportunistic in this game, and they're going to rely heavily on Kenneth Walker, and I think Kenneth Walker is going to be the difference maker here. And Geno Smith is going to be able to do what he needs to do for them to win as well. And I do want to point out, AJ, what you said, the fact that the Giants have been all over the country with the recently with the Jaguars, now having traveled across the country to Seattle. And then out of the country, like it's not an easy road, no pun intended, for the Giants, and they do fall in this game 27-24.